Judge not, lest ye be judged. That is likely one of the single most quoted scriptures of all time. And honestly, it might just be one of the most misunderstood as well. Taking this verse at face value, you're led to believe that if you simply just point out someone's problems, then boom, God himself will come and judge you. However, if you take a look at the verses around it, then the message is far different from what we have been led to believe. So here's the legendary verse in Matthew 7:1. Do not judge others and you will not be judged. Obviously, if you took that at face value, the message is pretty clear. But all you gotta do is read the very next verse, and the message becomes far more interesting. For you will be treated as you treat others, and the standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged. Now that changes the entire dynamic. Because with that one verse, the message changes from don't judge whatsoever to judge others how you want to be judged. In fact, these two verses, along with the verses that come afterwards, are actually providing a rough guideline to judge. When we ask ourselves how we would want to be judged, instead of running headlong into a conversation saying, hey, don't do that sort of thing, that's a sin. You slow down, hang back a little bit, and you think to yourself, if I was in this person's position, how would I want to be judged for this problem? It slows us down, calms our minds, and allows us to go forth not with righteous anger, but with love for the other person. That way, instead of coming off as preachy, we can come to them as someone who actually cares, who wants to see them do better. And the verse afterward builds upon this principle. And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying to your friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye, when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite! First get rid of the log in your own eye, then you will see well enough to deal with the speck in your own friend's eye. I mean, as you would guess, having a big old stick in our eye, it really messes up our perception of what's going on. Thus makes us blind to our own issues. So if we remove the log, then we'll be in a better position to find out the best way to pull the speck out of our brother's eye. And remember, all of this is to make sure we don't simply run head first into a conversation to try and fix a person, according to the way we want to. Rather, all of it makes sure that we approach this with patience and love. Rather, it's to make sure that we approach them as we would want them to approach us, as said in Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. And this is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. And that there is where the most quoted phrase of the Bible is from. Treat others as you wish to be treated. So now comes the question, okay, what if I've dealt with my issues? Then can I go out and help people? Well, it's not as easy as you might think. Because sure, going out and judging with patience and love can work. But unfortunately, the reality is, you can't force someone to hear a message they're not ready to hear. And if you give your judgment to them, even if it's with great empathy and love, they still might devour you whole. Matthew 7:6. Don't waste what's holy on people who are unholy. And don't throw your pearls to pigs, and they will trample the pearls, then turn and attack you. So in other words, as much as we would like to, we can't help those who don't want to be helped. But don't underestimate the power of planting this seed into their head. Because if we can allow them to come to their God through their own reasoning, but in the worst case scenario, they shrug you off and say, the Bible says not to judge, you jerk. Really, all you can do is just dust off your shoes and move on. God has more experience with dealing with those of hardened hearts than anybody else in this world. So, best to leave it to him. He knows what he's doing. So in conclusion, the Bible does not say to not judge. Instead, when it comes to those who are knee-deep in sin, we must approach them with empathy, with love, and with patience. Just as Jesus would approach us. We must clear ourselves of our own blind spots. And we must treat them in the same way we will want them to treat us. With respect, with patience, and with love. And thank you for watching this video. God bless everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.